Clive, thank you. Hello and welcome to Look North. On the programme tonight, a man from Rotherham is wrongly accused of being a fraudster. Craig's image was kept by facial recognition software installed at a Sports Direct store.
At first I thought it was a joke, but then it became clear it was quite serious, and then therefore escorted me out of the shop.
Well, he's since received an apology. Also tonight, who and why would anyone want to steal a rescue dog? Staff search for Bella the lurcher.
Last season they won the championship, but how will Leeds United fare now back in the Premier League after 2 seasons away? I'll be live here at Ellen Road talking to fans later in the programme.
Call it what you want.
What do you call one of these? A bread cake, a roll, or something else perhaps? A Sheffield band say they have the answer.
And there's been a lot of cloud today. Will it improve as we head through the course of this week? Join me for that detailed forecast.
Hello, thanks for your company this Thursday evening. First tonight, a man from Rotherham who was escorted out of a store after being mistaken for a shoplifter says there needs to be more checks on facial recognition systems. Craig Hadley was put on a national database after being misidentified by a member of staff at the store. Tom Ingle takes up the story.
At first I thought it was a joke, but then it became clear it was quite serious, and then therefore escorted me out of the shop.
From browser to persona non grata in the tick of an algorithm. It happened here, at Sports Direct at Parkgate near Rotherham. As he entered the shop, a facial recognition system flagged Craig Handley up as a fraudster. But it was a mistake. He'd been in a couple of weeks earlier, at the same time as someone who was trying to defraud the retailer. Staff, though, had recorded Craig as the miscreant.
They looked very similar to me, but they got a bald head and a beard, so they'd made a mistake and then flagged me on a national face recognition database. I wrote a formal complaint by email. It took about 2.5 weeks for their full response to come through, during which time I was really anxious going into any shop because there was a fear of my photo being in other shops where they might throw me out.
Theft is just one challenge for retailers, big or small. Rotherham is pushing to regenerate its town centre. A recent survey by the town's MP revealed concerns shop workers have about abuse and shoplifting. A reliance on tech can only be part of the solution, say the local Chamber of Commerce.
The retailers have radios between them to communicate to each other. Obviously the challenge with all this is what happens after that. How you can have all the measures in the world, but unless there's prosecutions, unless there's enforcement within there, then it's very, very hard to achieve anything.
The idea that you could be blacklisted from your local shops, you could be placed on a secret watch list, that information is shared in all the shops in your area. There's not necessarily any evidence of wrongdoing, there's no due process, there's no clear remedy. This is a recipe for disaster, and many people have been really impacted by this.
Craig has received an apology from the retailer. The technology was working correctly. This was purely human error.
I get it was a human error and people make mistakes, but where those mistakes can result in people who've done nothing wrong being put on that national database, then there needs to be some more checks and balances. They've mentioned there'll be some training, but I don't think that's enough. There needs to be something in place because it caused embarrassment, it could cause reputational damage.
How do you feel about going back into the shops again?
No.
It's quite simple there, isn't it? Sports Direct did apologise today but declined an interview with us. However, the company that provides the FaceWatch software joins us now. Dave Sumner is FaceWatch's Data Protection Officer. Dave, thank you so much for your time tonight. Why are shops installing this kind of software provided by FaceWatch?
Because they've had enough. The British Retail Consortium has said that shoplifting, let's call it what it is, theft, is spiralling out of control and it's costing us all £2.2 billion a year. They've tried calling the police, reporting, they've tried security guards, They've tried putting up images of offenders and windows and been told to take them down. And they really want to take back control, and they want to protect their staff, because increasingly theft in retail environments is accompanied by violence and threats. We've all seen those signs in shops saying, "We will not tolerate abuse of our staff." Well, at last, some mean it.
I
Hats
suppose
off to the likes
I can see why the companies would want to introduce that, given the prevalence of shoplifting. But the technology, it would appear, is only as good as the people who program it. Obviously, we've seen incidents where individuals have been mistakenly identified as shoplifters, as in this case in Rotherham.
Yes, there was a human error, as you pointed out, within the loss prevention team of one of our subscribers. I don't want anybody on our database who shouldn't be there. And as soon as this was brought to my attention, we removed the gentleman from there and informed them of it. Yes, all technology must be supported by human involvement, and occasionally humans will err. But let's put this in the context of the 9,000 retail crimes that are reported to us every month, and the 55,000 crimes in retail premises that happen every day.
There are concerns that the software is seen by some as a breach of civil liberties, because people have no idea if their information is being retained on a watch list unless they get refused access to a shop. What do you say to those concerns?
I say that we're a necessary service in this crime environment, that our service is proportionate and it is accurate, and it's allowing our customers, their staff, to be alert when a known offender walks in, and they can call the police, they can offer customer service, or within their rights ask the person to leave because they've offended in their store previously. They're quite within their rights to do that. And big retailers, Mike Ashley Fraser's group and Sir Richard Walker at Iceland, hats off to them for taking that step to protect their staff, because they're sick and tired of the crime that they're suffering. And wherever FaceWatch is used, crime plummets.
Very briefly, Dave, 10 seconds if you could. What about people who are innocent? Where do they stand?
I don't want anybody on our database, as I said. We want known offenders, and we want to alert our subscriber base when they walk into their premises so they can prevent a crime before it happens.
OK, well, I do appreciate your time today. Dave Sumner from FaceWatch, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Still with facial recognition technology, and the police have confirmed that 2 live facial recognition vans will be out on the streets of West Yorkshire later this year. The vans have cameras that scan faces and check them against people who are wanted for some of the most serious crimes. Campaign groups say they're concerned about a lack of privacy, but the Home Secretary says people who follow the law have nothing to worry about.
The overwhelming majority of images are deleted in 0.2 seconds. So those who are not on the wanted list of serious criminals, those images are not held, they are immediately deleted. But what they are able to do is to identify those who are potentially the most wanted criminals.
We know that the College of Policing have been looking at the system for bias, and they've looked at independently looked at whether or not bias in relation to ethnicity, race, or gender is embedded, and apparently it's neutral as to those things. Well, time will tell, won't it?
Next tonight, staff at a dog rescue centre near Leeds say they still have no idea why thieves targeted them, stealing 3 dogs last week. 2 of the dogs were recovered, but one, a lurcher called Bella, is still missing. Carla Fowler has the story.
In the early hours of last Tuesday, thieves broke into this North Yorkshire dog rescue centre. They scaled the fence at Woodhaven Second Chance Rehoming and took 3 dogs from their kennels. One later escaped and another was brought back by the thieves, but Bella, a black and white lurcher, is still missing, and the centre is desperate to find her.
Yeah, we really miss her. We're just heartbroken. She came in such an awful state, and she was like a different dog. She was so, her coat was gleaming, she was just so happy, she loved her toys, and then it just feels like she's probably going to be right back to the shutdown dog that came in, you know, covered in wounds and just horrible.
Bella arrived here badly injured in 2024 and was never claimed. Whisper, the terrier, was also taken but returned by the thieves on the same night. It's not known why the dogs were targeted, but a few days before the break-in, images of Bella were shared online to help encourage her adoption.
In fact, the people who came on Tuesday night took Asher as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the morning, when I went out to go see where Bella was, another member of staff arrived and said that someone's brought Asher back. And that's when we realised that he'd been taken as well. But he looks very, very similar to Bella, almost identical.
It very much, for me and all of us, it feels like we've lost our own dog. We're all just looking for her everywhere you go. You're driving to and from work or just anywhere in general. And I'm looking in every single field I go past. I see rabbits or wildlife moving and you're looking after them, seeing, are you running away from something? Is it Bella?
North Yorkshire Police are investigating and have asked anyone with information to come forward. The centre hope the public will share the search for Bella far and wide and help bring her back home soon. Carla Fowler, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Thanks, Carla. OK, let's get some news in brief now. The family of a 13-year-old girl who was found unresponsive in a flat in West Yorkshire say they're absolutely devastated by her death. Casey Louise Horrocks, who was from Greater Manchester, was discovered by emergency services in Huddersfield on the 11th of August and died later in hospital. A 16-year-old boy who was arrested on suspicion of murder and rape following her death has been released on bail. 3 men have been charged with murder after a man was shot dead in Wakefield last week. Dale Stogden, who was known as Brett Stogden, was killed on Tuesday as a shot was fired from a car on Doncaster Road. The 3 men charged with his murder have appeared at Leeds Magistrates Court today. They've been remanded in custody and are due at Leeds Crown Court tomorrow. South Yorkshire Police has been reprimanded after it deleted more than 96,000 pieces of body cam evidence. An investigation by the data protection regulator found the force didn't have the appropriate measures in place to keep the evidence secure. Later, it was found that 96,174 pieces of original footage had been deleted. The force has apologised and says it's worked with the CPS to minimise the impact on criminal proceedings. A police investigation is continuing after the body of a 12-year-old boy was found in a North Yorkshire river at the weekend. Officers were called after the boy was seen going into the River Swale in Richmond on Saturday afternoon. Emergency services carried out an extensive search before recovering a body later in the evening. The child is yet to be formally identified, but his family have been informed. North Yorkshire's Chief Fire Officer has thanked local communities and businesses for their help with a large moorland fire over the past week. Jonathan Dyson says people's generosity has been outstanding. The fire started on Langdale Moor near Aria Findingdales last Monday and crews are still at the scene. The cause of the blaze is not yet known. You're watching Monday's Look North. Still to come on tonight's programme. I hope you're feeling a little bit peckish because we're talking bread and pies tonight and a new play about the biggest meat and potato one in the world. OK, let's turn to sport now, and it's a big night for Leeds United returning to the Premier League with a game against Everton. The kick-off is at 8 o'clock tonight and Olivia Richwald is down at the old Peacock pub just outside the stadium and a popular pre-match watering hole for fans. Olivia, what's the atmosphere like there?
Well, this pub is the place to be before any Leeds United home fixture, and fans here are really excited about their return to the Premier League after 2 seasons in the Championship. Tonight they face Everton at home, which is a good first fixture as far as the fans are concerned. Last season, the manager Daniel Farker described Ellen Road as a fortress, and he said he's hoping to replicate that in the Premier League. He said he feels like Leeds belong in the Premier League, and fans here will agree with that. Well, ahead of the game, I asked fans how they were feeling about tonight's fixture against Everton and what they were hoping for from this season.
I'm hoping for a good season, hopefully not getting relegated, middle half of the table, and some good goals from my favourite player, Ao Tanaka.
Okay, and how about you?
Well, obviously not to get relegated. I reckon maybe 15th, 14th.
To stay up, that's the bare minimum, but it would be good to hopefully get a European place.
I think there'll be definitely at least 4 teams worse.
You know what? There's a lot of bad though this year. Isn't there?
I'll
go 16th.
Well, Leeds United have already brought in 8 new players at a cost of £70 million, and Daniel Farke says he wants even more. One of the most eye-catching of those transfers is the man they got for free. That's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who of course is a former Everton and England striker. He was a free transfer. Well, none of the new signings or the existing team will be under any illusions of the challenges that Leeds United face this season. Of course, last season, all 3 of the promoted teams relegated. But tonight, here at Ellen Road, it is all just optimism. They're hoping for a great game and they're expecting a full house here tonight. And if you can't be here, don't forget, of course, you can listen to all of the action live on BBC Radio Leeds.
OK, Olivia, live at Ellen Road, thank you very much. And apologies once again there for the slight break-up on those pictures. Well, we'll stay with football because it was the second week of the season for clubs outside of the Premier League. We've just time for a brief look at a couple of games from the Championship and, of course, 2 involving newly promoted teams from Leagues 1 and 2. At Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday's off-field woes continued on it. A goal in the first minutes of each half helped Stoke City take all 3 points. Al's fans protested against the club's ownership outside the ground before kick-off. Steel City neighbours Sheffield United made the long journey to Wales, but were undone from a 66-minute goal by Brazilian winger Ronald Pereira Martins. Newly promoted Bradford City inflicted Luton's first defeat in League One with an impressive 2-1 win at the University of Bradford Stadium. Goals from Stephen Humphreys and Bobby Poynton guiding the Bantams to a second successive home victory on their return to the 3rd tier. In League 2, Chesterfield scored 2 late goals to claim a 3-1 win at home to 10-man Bristol Rovers. Tom Naylor putting the Spireites ahead in the 41st minute. Carl McFadzine and Armando Dobra then denied the visitors an unlikely point. Rovers were reduced to 10 men in the 39th minute when Joel Senior was sent off for a foul on Dobra as he advanced towards the area. And you can catch up with all the action from your favourite club on the BBC Sports website at www.bbc.co.uk/football. Now, it's a Yorkshire pie story with a 200-year-old history, and now it's the star of a new play on stage tonight in London's Bread and Roses Theatre. The Great Pies of Denbydale tells the story of humongous pies made in the village since 1788 to mark various national events. The play's creators hope to take it on tour, and their ultimate wish is being to perform it in Denbydale's famous Pie Hall. So what might be coming our way? Well, Kathy Killick's been finding out.
When they say it's big, they're not kidding. This was 1988 Denbydale Pie, a meat and potato mammoth.
I've never seen anything so big in my life.
It made 50,000 portions, and it needed to. The crowds were huge. In the 80s, a taste of pie counted as a grand day out, and now those days are being relived on stage.
Oh, it's a pie for the ages. Everything you could possibly imagine, we'd put it in that pie.
Bryn Walker, who's from the area, and his co-writer Megan Farker are writer-performers developing a play all about the pie.
The whole history is so bizarre, and I think for me what draws me in is just how a small village like Denbydale has actually made real beats across the world. Like this pie village is famous for one thing, and that is pie.
The enormous pies have been a village endeavour since 1788. So far, 11 have been made for various reasons. This one was to celebrate 200 years of pie making.
We want the pie! We want the pie!
The recipe has morphed over the centuries, but in 1887, for Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee, as well as beef, mutton, veal, lamb and pork, they threw in 64 rabbits, 40 pigeons, 12 grouse, 21 ducks, 4 plovers, 5 geese, a turkey and 560 pounds of spuds. It's a beast.
It's not just about pie, it's like how they put the pie, like the ceremonies that were involved and the absolute crazy things that there were riots, people fell in the pie, there was rotten pies, like there was so much craziness that it felt perfect to make into a play.
Over 200 years, this village has come together time and time again through like adversity and through just the most weird circumstances, but they always make it work in the end. Like, I think that's really heartwarming.
He's not wrong. A pie is a beautiful thing. A shared pie is even better. And when that becomes shared history and shared endeavour, well, that's truly lip-smackingly satisfying. For everyone, including the dog. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North.
You can't beat a good old Yorkshire pie, can you? Now, we'll stay on the food theme because it's a debate as old as bread itself. What do you call these fine specimens? Is it a bread cake? Is it a tea cake maybe? A bun? A cob? A barm cake? Bap? Well, your answer can depend on, of course, where you grew up. And one band from Sheffield are trying to settle the argument once and for all. The Everly Pregnant Brothers could cause a real bun fight with their latest release, based on ABBA's Winner Takes It All. Cathy Minton could tell us a little more.
Simple, round and perfect for a sandwich. But what is it called? A bread bun? A roll? Well, the Everly Pregnant Brothers are confident that they've got the definitive answer. Earning a crust out of the Sheffield music scene for more than 15 years, the band give well-known pop songs a northern twist, and they're not afraid of stirring up controversy.
You can call it what you want. If you don't come from here.
So when they play Bread Cake Not a Roll live, does it cause a bun fight?
Overall, the entire feeling's been quite jovial, I'd like to say.
Well, it's great to take it to live venues outside of Sheffield, because that's when the controversy really rears its head and we get people chanting their version of what it's supposedly called. But we know
fair cob, fair cob, if you will. Fair play, and that's it. They've got every right, but they're wrong.
Of course,
yeah, it's a bread cake.
We're in very divisive times globally. Could this be one argument too many? You know, why are you picking a fight here?
Well, that's a good question. I think we need to fight about something that's not so depressing.
No, if people are concentrating on this as a divisive subject, then they're going to think, what we're bothered about restaurant for?
We could end up with world peace, because
exactly.
when we suddenly find out what the bread cake is actually, you know, that's what it's called.
Is it a bread bun, a cob, a bap? It goes by so many names. So what do you call one of these?
I'd call it a bread roll. Bread bun.
A bap. What would you call this food item here?
I'd call that a bun.
I call them barm cakes.
Barm cakes, and where are you from?
Liverpool.
Where you're from, what would you call it?
Cob.
It's a cob.
It's a cob. Whereabouts are you from?
Nottingham.
What would you call this?
Een broodje.
A what?
Een broodje.
A bodge. Where are you from?
The Netherlands.
And what about you, madam?
Yeah, that's a broodje.
Well, we're no clearer, but it's just a bit of fun. Fun on a bun, or a bread cake, or a broodje. You decide. Cathy Minton, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Do you know, I have the strangest feeling we're going to be absolutely inundated with people's views on what they should be called. And our camera operator, Kevin, he's from Merseyside, and he calls them batches.
Well, he can't help that, can he? Anyway, we've got evidence here. White tea cake. It is a tea cake. And Jill Walker's been in touch. She lives in Halifax. She says, I agree with Paul the Weatherman. A flat, round bread thing is called a tea cake. And if it has currants in it, it's called a currant tea cake, obviously.
No, a tea cake is a sweet bread cake, essentially.
You're wrong. Shall we have a
Apparently
look
this is baked in Lancashire, I'm told.
Oh, we're not eating that then. Let's have a look at the pictures that you've sent in. There's a couple of crackers, actually. The first one, it looks like, this is happening right across Yorkshire. Trees dropping the leaves a month ahead of where they should be. I mean, that's because they're under stress because of how dry it is and the heat we've had this summer. That's a lovely golf course. And look at this. This reservoir is 6 miles from Hebden Bridge. I mean, that is seriously depleted. I have the latest figures from Yorkshire Water on tomorrow's programme. Obviously, there's not been a drop of rain since they fell to 42.2% a week ago, so they'll be interesting. If you've got any pictures you'd like to send to me on X, on Instagram and on the Weather Watcher website. So tomorrow's headline, it's a bit disappointing. Skies like this, very grey. Like today, there's been a little bit of drizzle in places, otherwise it's dry, but high pressure is in charge, so no significant rain at all in the forecast. And this little weak cold front behind it, the cloud is more broken, so I think from Wednesday onwards we should see a bit more brightness. And the good news is the bank holiday weekend is looking warmer and sunnier and dry. So that's something certainly to look forward to. Now look at the extent of the cloud. It's all been feeding in from the North Sea in the last 24 hours. It did bring a little bit of drizzle in places, and although there's a bit of brightness around this evening, that cloud will slowly thicken as we head through the night, bringing some mistiness and drizzle, especially over the hills and along the coast. But it's another mild one. Temperatures around 14 Celsius, that's 57 Fahrenheit. So tomorrow's high water times, bit of a cool Scarborough tomorrow with a lot of cloud, 10 to 2 tomorrow afternoon. So another cloudy one to come, a bit of drizzle in the air, especially at first. And I don't really think we'll see much in the way of brightness. Best chance maybe across South Yorkshire for a time, but unfortunately that cloud will continue to feed in from the North Sea. And a little on the cool side, just 16 in Scarborough and marginally below average elsewhere, 18s and 19 degrees. That's 66 Fahrenheit. So Wednesday, a little bit brighter, a little less cloud, and it will be generally dry. And then this trend forecast is pretty good. Dry with some sunshine Thursday and Friday. Then that's a bank holiday weekend. Look, temperatures on the up by Monday, 24 Celsius, with a good deal of sunshine to come. And that is the forecast, Phil.
Nobody said butty or stotty either, did they?
No, stotty's a bit of a Geordie one, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. Will you be having tea cakes later?
Well, definitely.
That's as far as we go. Mark Ansell's back with the late bulletin at 10:30. But from Paul and myself and the rest of the team, do enjoy your Monday evening. Good night.